What's up, guys? Rob here from CLG, bringing another competitive deck tech series. This time we're going to be going back to the Ebony Prophet, or Abdul, the Harbinger of Death. We had a bunch of people asking for our version of Abdul, what we've been playing, and yeah, it's they also wanted a water variation, and they just happened to kind of coincide with each other. So I had some time before I'm heading back home, so I figured I would try to knock one out real quick. Sorry if I'm rushing through this one. I know you guys probably aren't liking the 30-minute long deck tech videos anyway, so I mean I'll try to make it a little bit quicker. But I want to give it, I want to give information on the choices and everything else. So, but yeah, so we have Ebony Prophet, and like the majority of the rulers in the second set of 2 towers, they have 2 J activations. Either one with the corresponding true, as long as you have the corresponding true stone out, you get to pay just 1 mana and J activate, or you get to pay 3. For Abdul, or Ebony Prophet, it's 1 colorless and 2 darkness, and you get to J activate. And then he has an activation ability, or activate ability. You can rest him. Target resonator gets -300, -300 until end of turn. More often than not, you're not going to be using this ability. You're wanting to hit for a deck like Abdul, he's more mid-rangey control, so you're wanting to hit that critical mass of mana, and so every turn you're basically you're just turning him sideways, just flipping mana stones over, just getting to the point to where you can, play a large threat and have counter backup, or play a large threat and have, removal. So that's basically generalized game plan, or the broad overview game plan for Abdul. So let's go ahead and look at Abdul, actually. Not kind of Harbinger of Death, but Harbinger of Despair. But after you J activate, he has a continuous that all of your opponent's cards do not have their trigger abilities enter. So it turns off Gretel's, Pied Pipers when it comes into play, a couple other cards. It's just several cards that have any abilities. And then his activation is 0. You can do it twice on your opponent's turn and twice on your turn. Target Resonator or Addition, which a lot of people need to remember that it also cancels out additions. A lot of people that I play forget that it turns them off. But target Resonators or Additions lose all abilities until end of turn, and you can play it twice. And he's 1,000,000. Plus, he's a wizard. He's not a human, thank God. So he doesn't fall prey to like Purifying Fire or some of the other removal spells. So. He's really good. He's really impressive. Let's go ahead and jump. Usually we jump to the stone deck, but we're going to go and jump to the deck right away and just kind of get into it. We'll start with the Resonators first. We have 2 copies of Glinda. Now, normally in Abdul list, you'll see people playing 3 to 4 Zekes, 3 to 4 Absolute Cake Zones. In testing, I found that I wanted some more early bodies. And just Glinda just fit fit what I needed for that slot. It gave me, I was able to take out some cake zones and put in, I was able to put in a body, and with the ability, 2 really exceptional abilities on this card. So she's a 2-drop 500/500, and granted she does cost 2 nature, or 2 wind, but she's not that hard to cast with a mana base. But her first ability is inner ability is really strong, giving one of your resonators, or target resonator cannot be blocked until the end of turn, which is really good. And her activate is you banish it, and you cancel target normal spell unless its controller pays 2 more. So more often than not, your opponent, more often than not, I have people forget about Glinda's second ability, and I'm able to catch them. But being able to make your opponent play around Glinda, it's really nice. I mean, granted, sometimes she does just she does eat thunders, but I mean, I'd rather them thunder her than thunder me in the face, or answer with some of my other creatures. So we're running 3 copies of Guardia. He usually gets played on turn 2 a lot. Priest into Guardia is actually a pretty normal line of play. He's a 3-drop. He's a 3-drop dragon, 800/800, and he allows you to search your Magic Stone deck for whatever stone you want, and basically put it on top. And that's pretty crucial for, say, depending what you put on top is you're kind of reactionary to what your opponent's doing. I mean, if your opponent's playing slow, it's like you may want to go ahead and get the True Stone, just so you can maybe J-activate J-activate Abdul, easier. Or you may want to, put a, stack the Windstone on top, so you can abuse your Gretel. So all in all, it's a very, very solid card, and the fact that he pumps 400 in attack is really, really good. So it's running a full complement of Cheshire Cats, which drawing cards, of course, is really, really solid. It's a speed bump. It can't be targeted. It's just, it blocks for days, and helps you get to kind of the mid game, which is where Abdul really shines more than I think the majority of all the other decks in the format. But yeah, Cheshire Cat, I mean, the card's insanely good. There's a reason why it's sold out everywhere, and people want their playsets. So Mechastopheles, by far in a way the best finisher for Abdul, and probably one of the best finishers in the format. I mean, the fact that it's a 1500 with essentially no drawback in Abdul, because you can shut off its ability, is really strong. I mean, it has flying and target attack. I mean, it's 1500, like, going back to the 1500, like, that's in ruler range of damage. And for 4 that you can basically even pay him on turn 3, he's really, really, really good. And you definitely have to have answers. If you're planning to play competitively, you have to have answers from Mephistopheles in your main board. Either stoning to deaths or it's basically stoning to death, or like Carmilla's your main 2 ways of dealing with Mephistopheles, or just attacking into it. But the fact that he has flying and target attack is just nuts. And when he becomes targeted by spells or abilities your opponents controls, they lose 500. So even if they stone to death, they're still losing 500 points, 500 life points, which is, which isn't nothing to, scoff at. I mean, it's losing an eighth of your life is still an eighth of your life. So then it's running 3 Pied Pipers. This is just to give us another finisher. And because, I mean, put it this way, every single stoning to death your opponent has is going to be targeted at your Mephistopheles. So it really makes, having to answer something like Pied Piper, a little bit more difficult after, when they're having to save, they're having to save their removal, their hard removal for Mephistopheles. So Pied Piper comes down, of course, sometimes turn 4, sometimes, more often than not, turn 5. It combats other Pipers, or just, locks down your opponent's, larger threats. And, we all know how Pied Piper can just, put a game away. And if he's not answered quickly, he can put a game away pretty fast. So as far as our early drops, we have full complement of Elvish Priest, pretty self-explanatory. It's Llanowar Elf. It helps us play bigger things early, and who doesn't like playing bigger things early? And it blocks the little 300 swiftness wind drops all day. So yeah, Elvish Priest is very solid. Then we have I'm gonna skip ahead to Gretel. Gretel, of course, Gretel's a Gretel. If you're playing in nature or wind deck, usually see people playing Gretels. Pretty straightforward. Reveal the top magic card of your Magic Stone deck. If it's Windstone, put it right into play. We'll touch on the Mana Stone base with Gretels, and there's actually the debate that we've been going on back and forth, and we'll kind of get to that when we talk about the Stone deck. But yeah, Gretel's just another way to ramp, just like Elvish Priest, to get you to play your stuff early. So yeah, and then of course with Gretels and Cheshire Cats, after you've played them and got their effect, they usually just sit there. So they wind up being, they're usually roadblocks. And, Rush being a thing, Rush is Abdul's probably worst matchup. Because there's just, if Rush gets a really sick curve or a really good opener, it's kind of hard to kind of come back with some builds. But Cinderella helps you kind of just stop that in its tracks. I mean, being able to play a Cheshire Cat or a Priest. Usually you don't want to sack your Priest off, but I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? But being able to sack a Cheshire Cat, shuffle it back in, or banish it, your Cheshire Cat, and shuffle it back in, or and then sacrifice your Cinderella to 400 to everything and wipe your opponent's board. Usually buys you enough time to hit that mid-range, that kind of the mid-game, so you can play your larger threats and just kind of brick wall them for the most part. But yeah, Cinderella is anti-aggro all the way, and it's just a solid way of just kind of board wiping your early your opponent's early stuff. Or I mean, he does clear out a lot of Cheshire Cat. She clears out a lot of Cheshire Cats for the most part. So your Guardias and Pied Pipers don't just get just get blocked by them. So we have 3 Zekes. 3 Zekes is really solid. He protects your Mephistopheles or Pied Pipers. Gives all your creatures plus 200/+200, and it shuffles all your magic stones in case somebody bloody moons you, and all your other cards back into your deck. And but more often than not, what we're playing it as is a counterspell. It's a remove soul for your Magic players. 2 green, counter target summon spell, and yeah, I mean nothing's better than being on the play. You play the priest, and you get mana, and you just Zekes whatever they play the next turn. It's if they didn't have a turn 1 play. It's really, really good, and it just buys you, and being able to buy a turn every turn is really good. A lot of decks will run Law of Silence and a couple other spells, but I don't know. It's just we play the 4 Stoning to Deaths, pretty staple. It's the premier answer for anything in Darkness. And then, like I touched on earlier, we're playing 2 Cake Zones. Most decks will play usually 3, sometimes 4, because they want to be able to be able to protect the Mephistopheles or just counter the normal spells. I mean, plus it cantrips when you have a Gretel in play, so very solid. The one tech card that we've been playing that is really, really solid that I haven't seen a lot of people play is Crossroad of Worlds. It's a 1 colorless and 2 water wheel. Target Resonator loses all abilities and gains all abilities of another target Resonator until end of turn. First Resonator's attack and defense become the same of the second Resonator. So what you do is, like I touched on earlier, is like when you have things like Gretel and Priest kind of just sitting there, not really doing a lot of basically just not doing anything. This allows them to become a Pied Piper and Mephistopheles and push through damage out of nowhere. I mean, there's some times where you just kind of go Guardia pumps Mephistopheles, you or you draw for your turn before you untap or recover. You pay 3, target your Gretel or whatever, and it becomes a Mephistopheles. Or sometimes, I mean, there's some plays where I use Guardia to pump Mephistopheles to a 1900. Then before I untapped, I Crossroad of Worlds a Gretel, turn it into a 1500 Mephistopheles with flying and targeting attack, and hit my opponent for 3800 on turn 5, or turn 4 even. So I mean it's really, really nice, and it also has defensive capabilities, being able to it's just really good. It does cost a lot. It does cost 3, but a lot of people don't see the switch coming. It also helps you kill Pied Pipers, which is really, really good. So as far as our stone deck, the debate, of course, is we're not running a full wind package, so we don't get a guaranteed Gretel. There's about a 20% chance, but it's a calculated risk, because we wanted to play the True Stone and be able to cheat Abdul in quicker, and we're playing 1 copy of Dark Depths just to kind of give us an extra water will, and just to kind of and an extra darkness to kind of smooth out our mana bases, because we are pretty heavy on some of these colors. So, but 4 Deep Woods, 4 Black Silence, 1 Dark Depths, and 1 True Stone. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, get ready to go. So I was going to cut this short. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember to check out cyberlordgames.com for all your singles. We do have our giveaway going on this week for 4 Cheshire Cat. This month for 4 Cheshire Cats, and 2 other winners will get one of each of the playmats. So yeah, guys, tell me what y'all think. Comment, and yeah, get some testing in, and good luck if you have any locals coming up. I'll be trying to put out some more content. I will have a lot of content after I go to Gamma, which is the trade show that Force of Will be at. It's for retailers, and I'll be trying to get as much information as I can that I can relay it all back to you guys. So thanks for checking up on Abdul, and hope you guys liked it. And yeah, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.